Hi guys, it's Saffran. How's everyone doing? Good, I hope. Today I'm reviewing, I think, my second only ever review of a L'Artisan Parfumeur fragrance. The first one was something about the chase of the butterflies. I don't know, it was so many years ago. Since then I've discovered probably about 10 more. They do have about 100 fragrances in their line, but this one is Saffran Troublant. This was sent to me by a lovely person called Tammy. Hello Tammy, I'm guessing you're going to watch this because this is your signature fragrance, so hello, I hope you're okay. And because I've smelled quite a few now but never really reviewed many, I've kind of got an idea of their style. So I'll start by saying that their style to me seems to be somewhat simplified and stripped back fragrances. They're fragrances that do the job and aren't too overly complicated. They're just really pleasant and easy to wear. They remind me kind of a little bit, if you've ever smelled anything from the perfume house called Fidon or Fadon, especially their Eau de Toilette line. Stripped back, relatively linear fragrances that are just wham bam, here you go, love it or don't. Yeah, this one is really nice. It's an Oriental and it came out in 2002 and it's essentially a rose fragrance. The notes on L'Artisan Parfumeur's website are rose, vanilla and saffron. But I have read in other places that there is ginger in here and sandalwood as well. But ultimately, it's very simple and pretty. So let me spray it. It's dry on this hand. I have sprayed this on my skin a lot of times from this sample, in bits and bobs, just to kind of get the dry down and everything. But the way this goes on, first of all, is you can immediately feel rose. This is more about a rose than anything else to me. The saffron is there in a big amount, but it's more about the rose than anything. It's like the saffron accentuates the rose. So it feels kind of spicy at the beginning, and that's why I see people say that it has ginger in it. It's got that kind of gingery spice thing as opposed to a citrusy ginger in it, and it's like a rose with an exotic twist, and it's very simple. It's kind of romantic, and the rose in here is on the sweeter side, but not jammy. So it's almost like a delicate sweet rose, as opposed to being, you know, a jammy or a powdery or even a metallic type of rose or a fresh one. It's a very playful, verging on ethereal and kind of romantic rose fragrance with an exotic twist. And it's really, really cool. It's very beautiful. I've got some minis of some of their other ones now, and I've really got a feel for what they go for. They're kind of unadulterated, not too in your face. This one is, did I say ethereal already? Ethereal. That's the way it wears. It's one of those ones that kind of wears like a veil. It's kind of subtle and a little bit come hither, and it doesn't develop too much, but I can feel that when it dries, and it takes about an hour to 2 hours on me to kind of get to that stage, it starts to feel a little bit more woody, and I can feel the saffron actually more when it's dry. It starts to feel a lot more exotic and a little bit, not incensey, but saffron has that kind of dry, what's the word I'm looking for? I always say it's a little bit like hay, but people shoot me down for that. It's like the dry down gives the rose a little bit more depth, where it goes from almost being flirty and playful to something just that little bit more grown up. And I just really appreciate it for that. I think it's really nice. Definitely one for rose lovers to try, and if you haven't tried anything from this line before, they're very pretty, a lot of them. I smelled their orange blossom one. Oh god, I've got loads, all the names escape me right now, but yeah, it's not like a super developer. It's just very lightly spiced and saffron rose-like that turns into something kind of woody and a little bit more crisp when it's dry, and it's very, very beautiful. That's all I can say about it. I will say again, in terms of projection and longevity, I've only ever worn it twice fully, where I've sprayed it lots of times on me, and as it's a very soft rose, it behaves that way too. This isn't one you're going to smell across a room, and I get probably maximum from this wet sample about 5 hours out of it, but I can imagine if you have the bottle and you give it a bit of welly, you probably get more, but I guess it depends on your skin. You would have to try it out. Anyway, that's what I'm going to say about it. It's a very beautiful fragrance. Definitely a lovely rose. Kind of makes me feel a little bit like Turkish rose. Something like that in that region. I don't know. Anyway, if you guys want to get this fragrance, head on over to natino.co.uk. I'll post a link below in the description. I'm Archie on my click my logo down there to subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon for another review. Goodbye.